Hello, Notary friends. Welcome back to my channel. We're going to go over how to read a CD. Reading the CD, aka the closing disclosure. And we're going to understand that document if you are looking to get into closings. Maybe you already do closings and not quite sure. Who knows? But this video is for you if you're getting into your loan signing bag. All right, so first up, what is a CD? What is a closing disclosure? It's going to be your final summary of terms, your list of closing costs. So closing costs is usually a check that they are bringing to the table, bringing to you, or wiring. It depends where state you are in. There are some states that does not allow you to collect funds. I do collect funds here in Jersey. I'm often giving large sums of money. So if you look down, my notes are here in front of me. So if you look down here, right, so it lists the closing costs, which is down here, right? The closing costs is listed here. And then we have the cash to close. That cash to close amount, if you can collect funds, that's going to be the amount of money that you are getting. So if you can collect funds, you are collecting $4,146.26. That's what you will be getting. The buyers, signers typically receive this 3 days before closing. And if they aren't getting it, there's so many reasons why some of these items and some of these things are late. It's not always the signing service's fault. It's not always the lender's fault. It's not always title's fault. We like to blame them, but when you're working directly, you'll start to hear more often than not, they're often waiting for things from the buyer, and sometimes the buyer submits really late. Closings tomorrow. We've been asking you for 2 weeks, please submit your financial documents so that we can close. And they do it at like 12 a.m. the morning that it's supposed to close. And now everybody's scrambling to get the documents. So sometimes that's why documents can come in late, is because the buyer themselves are also providing all of this information so late. My buyer did the same thing, did not produce what was being asked for until Friday. Our closing was supposed to be on Monday. None of those things were submitted until like Friday at 4, which is basically the end of business day, and everybody was rushing to get her documents put together to close on Monday. So it happens. People always want someone to blame, and sometimes it's the signer themselves on why we as the notaries don't see everything the way we would like to go over. So that's not the reality of what it's going to do. So what's going to happen? So you have to be prepared and know what you're looking at. And even if you don't always get to see what you're looking at beforehand, it's also okay to like call title and call whoever you need to call in the signing. So yes, it should be sent 3 days before, but that's not going to always be the reality of when you're receiving the closing. So the CD is basically a receipt. It is required to be sent out and ensures the buyer understands all of their closing costs. So that's what a CD is, aka a closing disclosure. Where am I on this? I have to keep moving myself. Oh, my curly's in the back. All right, so the CD at a glance, as I mentioned before, it's going to have your loan terms, which is here, right? So it has your loan amount, which is this first line here. So when I am presenting this page to the client, to the signer, I am asking them, hey, is this the loan amount that you discussed with your lender? Yes. Great. Is this the interest rate? Here's the interest rate. Is this the interest rate that was discussed? Yes, because sometimes I've been told no. And I can't answer the question if they ask me that question. I don't know why that's not the loan amount that we have to get on the phone. Right? And then next we have your monthly principal and interest. That's listed here. And then this has a prepayment penalty. This does have one. Often it says no, but It also depends on the signer. No one really has asked me that, so I don't generally go over that. But if I see like this one says, yes, there's a prepayment penalty, I will point that out that, hey, there's a prepayment penalty. Generally, they say no when I am looking at it. And then this has their monthly payments. This is what is it called? An adjustable rate mortgage. So it's fluctuating from year 7 and year 8. And so then it also has their estimated taxes and insurance. So this is also where I point out to them that their property taxes, their homeowners insurance, all of that is included into their monthly payment. And that's where we get from year 1 to 7. That's where we get their total monthly payment, their monthly payment here. And as I mentioned earlier, this is also where we're going to have their closing costs and their cash to close. This is the check that they will be bringing. But if you cannot collect funds, I am assuming in those states, somebody who's in one of those states where you can't collect funds, let me know what that goes. Does the signer always just wire? Do they mail it in? Unclear, because I collect checks all the time. And then even if I am not collecting checks, I'm collecting the wire, I would, or confirming the wire, because sometimes they don't do it until the signer, the notary, comes in. It all varies. But when I am collecting a check, I make sure down to the cent the numbers are correct, that they match. And I also do the same for the wire. If they're wiring at the table while I'm there, I ask to see a screenshot, or I ask to see the amount that they are entering before they enter it. And then I tell them to send either, give me the screenshot or send it to title themselves, the screenshot of the wire that it was, to confirm that it was sent. So just make sure to familiarize yourself. While you won't be explaining any of these things, just knowing the location is pivotal. So that's what I mean by you won't explain anything, because they have already seen these numbers over and over again. They see this a lot. From the beginning, they're looking at estimates, and it changes, it fluctuates because credits are given. This is the realtor in me. You get credits from the seller, you can get credits from the lender, your agent. So there's so many different variations of the CD that they've seen. The estimated loan amount, they've seen it so many times. So you just want to make sure, hey, is this the final version that you went over with everyone, your realtor, your loan officer, everyone on your team? Is this the final numbers that you discussed? Is this correct? Because this is what we're signing and this is what we're going with. So you're just making sure that it is. And if anything is incorrect, like I've had the interest rate be incorrect, I've had the cash to close be incorrect on the document, and we need a new one because someone forgot to put the credits, or sometimes the buyers pay their insurance up front, or their HOA, they pay it for the year up front without telling anyone, and then these numbers have to be adjusted. So I always ask them, does this reflect what was discussed? Whether it's yes or no. If it's yes, we just move on accordingly. If it's no, what's wrong? We need to call title or your lender to get more clarification on why this looks this way. So, again, these are just important things that you should know, like where to look and find those figures for the signer. So page one, we basically already went over that. It's going to have your loan amount, which is right here at the top. So this loan amount is $160,000. It has their estimated monthly payments, which is right here. So on this specific loan, for the first 1 year, 1 to 7 years, it's going to be their mortgage payment, which I wish that was my mortgage. It's going to be $1,050.26. And then, as I mentioned already, we have the cash to close, that check or that wire that they're going to submit. So the biggest thing for you, if you're allowed to collect funds in your state, the biggest thing here is making sure that you, of course, get their questions answered, call title, whoever you need to call. But for you need to make sure that this number is Gucci. That number matches the amount that was wired. That number matches the amount that's given to you. That is your biggest job right here, if that's something that you are allowed to do in your state. If not, don't worry about it. Oh my God, I've been blocking this the whole time. Oh, it doesn't really matter. I wasn't blocking anything in for it. But yeah, so that is the biggest thing for you to walk away with, and make sure that you have paper clips to paperclip them to inside the package. I use folders when I am sending manila folders. I use folders when I'm sending a package because I can collect checks and I don't want those checks falling out, going missing. So I paperclip them, I put them in a manila folder, and then I also put them in the polypack folders and call it a day. I've seen some notaries raw dog it and just throw the papers in there. No rubber band, no folder, no binder clips. These are the small ones. But these are expensive. If you're doing this, if you as a notary are putting in these binder clips and for each closing, I hope that you're charging appropriately, because these are expensive. I use rubber bands. I use rubber bands because they expensive. Page 2, I'm going to keep it a stack. Everyone, depending on the client, doesn't always like go into this line by line. Most of the clients are just going to check page 1 to make sure the loan amount is correct, the interest rate, and the monthly payments, and the cash to close. Most people stop there and just go straight to page 5 and sign page 5. And then you're going to have others who are going to go through each adjustments, because you'll see here, like it says, it has the loan origination fees, title fees, and other costs like taxes and insurance, right? So it shows their appraisal fee is in here, so how much they paid for the appraisal. It shows how much they paid for the inspection. The survey was $85 on this. This is what they shopped for. So they already know those fees because they paid for it already, but it's also listed out here what they paid for. It shows the title fees, things like that. Title fees, transfer fees, like the recording fees for the county right here. You see it's $40 here to record a deed. It's $45 to record the mortgage. So that's $85 to file with the county. I'm not sure where this is supposed to be taking place, this sample, because each state is going to vary. So it has those numbers. It shows how much they pay for homeowners insurance. Their homeowners insurance is $1,209.96. So it shows that the property taxes are here. So the property taxes, there's prepaid interest. It shows that there. Those aren't things that you're going to go over. I'm a realtor, so I also understand those things. And also because I've been doing this for so long, it's why I understand what that looks like. But I also don't go out of my way to explain those things because legally I'm not supposed to. Now, if they are like, hey, where is it that I paid for homeowners insurance? I know that I'm taking you to page 2 and I'm taking you to section F on the prepaids. So that's where I'm taking you to, and those numbers don't match. What are we doing? We're calling the lender. So I'm not explaining what any of it means. If they have that question, I know where to look. Just like we have others, we have the HOA fee. There's a home inspection. The home warranty fee is here. And then the real estate commissions to each agent, the sellers and the buyer's agent. Those things also go here as well. It's not my place to explain anything. If they're like, hey, the agent is supposed to, not my place. And not my place if they see something on this line that they're like, I don't know, that's not supposed to be there. Where are my credits? You don't know where their credits are. You're not their agent. You didn't put this together. You're not their lender. So who do we have to call? Lender or title, so they can go through and adjust and answer any specific questions. But it's good to know where to find find those things so that you can help point it out to them. So again, if they had mortgage insurance questions, you know that you can, what sections you need to go to, at least what page to go to, so that you can find, oh, it's right here. Does that look okay? It doesn't look okay? Okay, we need to make a phone call. That is all you have to do. No explanations. Just, oh, that doesn't look right. You're not rocking with what this says. We need to call whoever we need to call. All right. And then we're on to page 3. So page 3, again, most people do not get into this nitty gritty, but it's good to know. It is good to know. So page 3 is going to have their down payment, their closing costs, and any adjustments. So here shows so we have the loan estimate. This is what I was telling one of my clients. It's going to fluctuate. She wants to know what her final numbers are going to be. And you are not going to know what your final numbers are going to be because everything fluctuates. Right now, we're not getting any credits, but by the end, we could be getting credits. So your loan estimate, as you see, like this one is different. The loan estimate, the closing costs were the estimated closing costs in the beginning when they just started was $8,000. The final was $9,000 and change. Right, and we see what their down payment is. That's the same. Their deposit, they put down a certain deposit. That's done. And the loan estimate didn't include any lender credits, any adjustments, but it looks here that they got a lender credit of $2,500, and then there were some other adjustments of $1,000 right here. So where the estimated cash at close was about $16,000 and change, because of the credits, the closing costs ended up being $4,000 and change, which we saw on the first page. So again, most people do not ask about this, do not go into this, but this is where we can see the estimated and the final costs right here, and any adjustments or credits are made. So again, someone might look at this and say, hey, I was supposed to receive credits. I don't see the credits listed anywhere. You know where to go. It would be listed here. It'll also be listed in the other pages on where they would be receiving the credit, because where does it show it here? Seller credit online right here. Seller credit, we see it's also listed right here, the seller credit. So if they're looking, because anyone that I know who's receiving a seller credit, they definitely want to know, where's that credit? I want to see it. So you know where to show them. If the amount is not the same, it's not your place, there's nothing for you to explain. Who are we calling? Title or the lender. But you know where to find the credits. It's going to be here on page 3, where you can see where your credits are. Oh my gosh, have I been blocking everything again this whole time? Yeah. So you're gonna have that here, and then you also see how much the seller is getting at the end of the transaction. Once the seller has paid everything, it shows you what the buyer is paying their cash to close. It shows you what is the profits to the seller. It shows that down here as well. Does anyone normally ask questions about that? No. So don't think too deep into that. You need to understand, you need to look, just keep it in the back of your mind of, hey, if they ask me about lender credits, where can I find that? I can find that on page 3. I can go through it, and even if you don't remember that you can find it on page 3, you can go through it. It's going to be there, and just point that out. It's going to become second nature to you at some point with reviewing these documents if they ask. But for me, 90% of the time, we go over page 1 and they go straight to the signature page. After I just show them their loan amount, interest rate, cash to close, their monthly mortgage payment, after I point those things out, that's it. They've moved on to the signature page. You will likely not have to talk about any of these other pages, but it's good to know if they ask, because you will have someone every now and again asking you, and at least you know where to point it out. Page 4, another page that this one definitely no one asked about this page. This is the assumption of the loan. This is the late payment policy, and this is also the escrow account info. So the escrow account generally holds the taxes and insurance. Again, not something that you have to go over. Their attorney, their realtor, their lender, all these people should have discussed this before you are seen. However, since I'm a realtor myself, there's so much information that the buyer is hearing. They're either not really hearing that, forgot that it was told to them, or pretend like they haven't heard it before. All of the above is true. All of the above is true and possible. You won't have to go over these things with them. They should know. They should know what's the late payment policy. And if you're doing this at an attorney's office, an attorney is likely also going to go over this with them. At least the attorneys that I've closed for, they go over all of this information with them while we're at the closing table. And then we're just signing and notarizing. So you don't have to go over these things with them. And if they have any questions about this, what are we doing? Calling the lender or title. That's what we're doing. Should I move myself? I'm gonna move myself just so y'all could see what it looks like, although I feel like it's not that super important what's here, because those numbers or figures you can't help or answer. You will have to call title or the lender. So anywho, make sure I move myself again. Okay, page 5, you're gonna have your loan summary all right here. I never get any questions about any of this. It shows their total payments that they'll be paying for this loan, the financing, the annual percentage. It shows all of those things. No one's really going to ask you. It just summarizes the cost over time. If the borrower has any questions, like we've been saying, you're going to call the lender or title. That is what we're doing, point blank, period. And if you do not know who the lender is, that's where you're going to get this information. If you cannot get in touch with the signing service, although I'm seeing some signing services tell you not to contact title and you need to go through them because they think that you may steal their clients, because some notaries do that. Please don't do that. We work really hard to create our relationships with our title companies, but I also do understand that when you're in the jam, because it's been me, I've done it, you're in a jam, the signing service isn't answering the phone. No one's answering your emails, no one's answering your calls. You're going to have to call the lender. The lender information is going to be right here, that you can call the lender. The title agent is going to be right here. The real estate agent, so the seller is going to be the seller's agent, where you see real estate broker S, that is the seller's agent, and then real estate broker B is the buyer's agent. The agents aren't usually going to be helpful. However, title don't know, if you're sent out by a signing service, title is not going to know who you are. They might not answer the phone initially. And same thing with the lender, because sometimes it's their cell phones that I put in here. Not always. Sometimes it's a cell phone, or sometimes it's the business phone. And if it's their cell phones, they may not answer because they don't know this number. So, of course, leave a message and text. And if someone's still not answering, that's where I would say lastly is to call the real estate agent, because then the real estate agent is likely going to have the direct contact to title or the lender to be able to help you out for these questions. If you're going through a signing service, if you're working direct, you already have everybody's direct information and who you need to contact, and that's not going to be the issue. It's just signing service. I feel like everything feels hidden under a blanket, and you have to talk to the signing service, and sometimes they are not always available, especially your bigger signing services. If you're working for someone like Amrock, which they no longer call themselves Amrock, they are Rocket Mortgage, you can stay on hold for like 45 minutes, bro, and they don't answer the phone. And then they also don't communicate with each other. But I digress. So when you're going through something like that, being on hold for like 45 minutes and there's no one to help you, this is a great page to help you with that. And this is also where the signer is signing the borrower, and the co-borrower is signing here, and that's you're usually, again, not gonna have to go over anything else other than the first page and page 5. But in the event that there's something that someone needs to ask you, or you need to find numbers, this is the great page to do that. And you also are now familiar with where you need to look. So some common questions that are going to happen where you're going to redirect them. You as a notary, if you can't find a place to point out the answer to them, you are going to redirect them to title of the lender. So why is my payment higher? My monthly, oh, look at me again. They might ask you something like, why is my mortgage payment higher? Can you answer that question? Like, be for real. You just saw these documents today. Could you realistically answer that question? You can't. Let's call your lender. And they should have that information too, of like calling their lender. Let's call your lender. Cool. I thought my rate was lower. You also can't answer that question. Call your lender. Let's call your lender, see what's up with that rate. And it might just be a typo. It might not be a big of a deal. Sometimes there's a lot of transactions going on at once. We're human. We may mix up 123 Main Street with 546 Main Street because they're happening at the same time. So it could just be a clerical error, and that needs to be changed. Where are my credits? Where are my credits? If you go, like I said, we go, what was that, page 3 that we saw the credits? We can go to page 3. You're looking where the credits are normally are. The credits aren't there. Who are we calling? Yes, we are calling the lender. Where are the credits? We don't see them. I went to the credit section. It is not there. Where are the credits? The lender will let you know where the credits are. And then, so some of the red flags on this document, because this documents, the names need to match. The mismatched names, dates, dollar amounts are wrong, so cash to close is wrong, or if their name is misspelled, isn't spelled correctly. I've had that. I've told that story. If you watch my Back to Notary Basics video, I've mentioned that as well. The names need to match on this document. You cannot like write it in, change it. Title docs, I've been able to do so, but again, I've gotten the okay from title themselves before we're doing something like that. But loan documents, I've only done it once that I was able to alter them. Everything else, I had to just, it's trash. It's done. We can't do it. We have to reassign this now. So if a borrower is confused or upset, you're not going to advise them to do anything other than call their loan officer before continuing. I've had someone, and I got caught in a snowstorm because of this too. The numbers were incorrect. They didn't match. And we had to call their mortgage company, which was a bigger lender, the bigger bank. I think it was like Chase, and it took forever to get someone on the phone. We had to reprint. He wasn't signing anything else. Because sometimes what I tell them when we have to wait on the phone that long, like, hey, do you want to just sign the rest of the package? And then we can call about everything. He's like, no, I'm not signing shit. I'm not signing nothing else until you got it, brother. You got it. Let's figure it out. And so we were nowhere in the package. Like, we had the whole rest of the package to sign until he figured that out. That was a really bad day for me in the snow, but whatever, it got done. But yeah, so if you just tell them who to call, because you didn't prepare the documents. This isn't on you. You just let them, all gravy, baby. But if you have somewhere to go, you have somewhere to go. That particular day, I did not have any other signings because there was an impending snowstorm. And this one was early enough in the day that I should have made it home, but his phone call kept my behind in his house, and I got caught in a storm. Okay. So, as I keep saying 1,000 times, you're not going to explain any fees. You're going to confirm that the signer has reviewed it, and then any direct questions that they have for you, you are going to refer them to their lender to ask any questions that you cannot answer. So, keep it simple, keep it neutral, and ensure that the buyer has time to review. Signers are going to ask you often, how long does it take? And I let them know that it's on them. My shortest signing has been 25 minutes. We didn't talk. We didn't talk for anything. We didn't speak. It was sign and go, sign and go, sign and go. He didn't really read anything. I've had a lot of borrowers not really read. And if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. Then other times I have signers who read everything, and it takes an hour and 20 minutes, depending on how much they are reading. Or some of them have so many questions that we're doing this, and that takes forever. So anytime someone anytime someone asks me how long it's going to take, and I said, that depends on you. I let them know that I've had anyone sign from 20 minutes to an hour and a half. Depends on you, because it doesn't depend on me at all. Because again, if we're just doing it, I can be out the door in 20 minutes. 20 minutes. I also have a reference for you, a cheat sheet, if you will. I am going to have it on my Gumroad. Yes, if anything changes, I'll pop it up here on the screen. I'll have the link in the bio. You can download the cheat sheet, take it on your appointments. I had a cheat sheet for my appointments. I had no shame in my game in pulling out a cheat sheet, so I knew where to find certain things, what words, vocabulary, what they meant, where do I find certain things that people might be looking for on the appointments. I never minded having a cheat sheet. You shouldn't either. I'd rather be prepared more than anything. So you have this free resource that you can use. Take it on your signing, print it, or if you're like me, I like to save paper, kinda. I love a good notepad, and I also love a good notes in my phone. So you download it on your phone, keep it on your tablet. I don't bust out a tablet on my signing, so definitely opening up on your phone. If you need to reference, you can do that. I will have the link below for you, but super excited for this. It took me a really long time to do this. If you made it to the end, oh my God, thank you so much. And yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for staying. Thank you for watching this video. I've been trying to put this video out for a very long time. Like I said, I had a lot of tech issues in figuring out the audio, the video, the picture-in-picture. It's been a thing, but we're finally done. We're here. How to read a CD. Please, I hope that this was helpful to you. If you have any additional questions, let me know. My contact info will be there. Send me an email. Send me an email. Y'all be finding my number. But send me an email. Ask me any questions that you might have regarding this. We do offer mentorship, business, and the notary. I'm the notary, and then Notary Zero is the business side of things on how to build a business and really get you going as an entrepreneur. If this is the first time that you are doing this, let us know. It's on my website. And I also have a sign-up page. If you're a notary out there, again, if you made it here, thank you. But if you're a notary out there in Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, those are the main areas that I'm servicing and trying to get a roster for when I have assignments in those areas. I do get booked and found in those areas, and I can contract work to other notaries in those areas. So please, I also do have a sign up page that I will leave below for you guys. And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.